recording. All right, this is our anniversary, and we are at the Indian Hills Country Club near Clinton, Arkansas, at the Fairfield Bay. And there's Calvin Endo, looking just as pretty as a picture. Here's his darling and wonderful wife, Susan.
This is the 2002 anniversary, number 47.
Number 47, right. There's Chuck.
Well, it's short for 50. Yes,
Oh, I see.
Happy 50th. Happy golden anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
Gold-plated anniversary.
May there be 50 more.
Thank you. Marcia.
Happy anniversary.
All right. David.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And then Tom Smith and Jerry Smith.
Yay.
I guess there. And here, right beside me, is my lovely and beautiful wife.
I still love you.
Jill. And I still love you, Jill.
Show your anniversary gift.
Oh, Grace Smith. This is our dear new dog, Frisbee. We needed a dog, and they thought this would really enhance our marriage to have a dog.
A Frisbee, yeah.
Frisbee of marital age.
Yes.
It's recording.
Is it recorded? Right, then go ahead.
Well, here I am.
Okay, what is the highlight of your views together?
Oh,
April 6, 1964.
Marcia thinks it was her birthday.
no, I don't think so. I think it's just been a wonderful, total experience. I can't pick out any particular one.
Okay, how did this man propose to you?
He got down on his one knee and proposed to me.
Where was this?
This was in my dormitory at Waco, Texas, Baylor University.
In the dormitory, a women's dormitory, and he got on his
It
knees.
was downstairs in the
Okay, I don't know if you're breaking any rules or
No,
not.
we're
breaking no rules whatsoever.
Okay. And now, what was the highlight of your wedding day?
the wedding night, I would say.
Hey, no, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
You had that.
Well, okay, go there. Hey, this may be instructive.
The day itself was a bit of a strain.
I see.
Yes, actually, he almost backed out because he was an honorable man. He didn't.
Let's see. Okay, did you
No, I
shove
wouldn't almost
cake in
back
his
out.
face
I
or
thought about it, but I
something?
didn't.
What?
Was there a problem with you shoving cake in his face?
No, no, we didn't do that.
No.
In-laws
Nobody did that
at each
back
other's
when we got
throats?
married.
Yeah.
It's a newer custom,
Oh, I see.
unfortunately.
But wasn't it cool though they had the military guys out there with the swords and all that?
We didn't have any swords.
You didn't have any swords? Oh, well.
Turned the
okay.
swords into plowshares.
I see. Okay.
I think that's enough.
I just want to get a picture of the place where we're staying. Susan and Calvin over there. We're staying in this one over here with Marcia and David. Some of the kids, of course. And who do we have coming up the road? It's like Laura, Danielle, Talia, and Joanna. Okay, here's Susan. This is some kind of a, what is that? What do you call that pie?
Blueberry cream cheese pie.
Okay.
German chocolate cake.
Here's Danielle standing there watching everything. We're going to have refreshments in a few moments.
My English kind of
Who wants
thing.
German
Yeah.
chocolate?
Hi.
The blueberry cream cheesecake, and who wants both?
German chocolate.
Both. Both.
You don't vote. I want the cheesecake.
Blueberry. Blueberry.
Wait, what did you say?
Tom?
Oh, German.
German chocolate cake.
Jerry?
Both.
I was telling about my spider bite in high school on my thigh, and it was a big red itchy area about the size of a silver dollar. Then another area about that big was radiating out from it. It was pink, and it was also just seemed to be getting worse. And in gym class, I was wearing shorts, and people were saying, what happened to you? And I said, well, I think I got bit by a spider. Well, then they start telling me horror stories. This one girl's mom now has a hole in her leg and stuff because the doctor had to cut out part of her leg. So I came out after school and I said that, told Dad I was worried. And he said, well, why? And I told him. He said, well, didn't we pray about it? And I said, yeah, if you want to go to the doctor, I'll take you to the doctor, else we can trust God to heal your leg. And I appreciate the fact he actually gave me a choice. And when he prayed for me, I kind of went through the motions. When I was a kid, his faith was good enough for me, to get healed and stuff, and it didn't necessarily have to be my faith. But by that time, I was about 16. And so I said, no, I just want to let God heal it. So he prayed with me, but again, I just didn't really feel my faith well up. So the next day in gym class, a girl said, when are you going to the doctor about your spider bite? Just all of a sudden, I just said to her, I'm not going to the doctor about my spider bite. I believe God's going to heal my leg. And as soon as I said it, I believed it for the first time. It's like my faith kind of welled up. It's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and actually, from that point on, it did heal up. And that was probably my first experience where I remember really trusting. I mean, I think I had other times, but that's the first major one where I remember trusting God to take care of something and that being my act of faith.
Reading together at night, spiritual books, praying together, that made a deep impression on me as a child.
One of the things that a person does when you get married is that then say, I feel good about myself based on what I gained from my parents divorce has never been an option. And I've always understood that if there's problems, you can pray it through, God can work it out, and you can believe that the unity will come back. And I really feel like I got a good example with my mom and dad, just affirming each other in love, and I guess it never occurred to any of us that you would ever get a divorce.
Oh, it did occur to me as a child.
Susan's the only one that
It used to
worries
worry me a lot. Remember, they would argue, especially if Mom wouldn't talk to him for a little while. And that did get to me on this very.
But I never
So
felt
talk
that
to each
way.
other.
Yeah.
That way,
We're affectionate with each other. That always made me feel secure, I guess, that growing up, that I had parents that loved each. In fact, I had too strong an expectation that when I got married, finally Dave said, look, I'm not your dad. You should see how affectionate my parents are. And I realized, well, yeah, his parents aren't nearly as affectionate. He's improved a lot in the 15 years we've been together. But, my expectation was to have what you guys had. And so we had to work on that and figure out what we could both live with.
Yeah.
But that was probably one of the...
I don't know that Sinette and I have ever talked about this, but one of the goals I have in my relationship with Sinette is for her to think I'm cute. So I do all these little things, all these little joking around, all these things, just to get a rise out of, just to get a laugh out of her or something like that. And it occurs to me that I got that from my parents, the way they related to each other, finding little ways to be cute, that kind of thing.
Because I can't think of Dad doing that as much as Mom.
Oh, Dad did all the time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
funny. It's
always says
clever.
funny
A
things.
lot of his cartoons are...
Yeah, but I mean,
Clever.
again, not that it's funny to me, but it's funny to Mom.
Yeah.
You know,
He knows how to amuse me.
Yeah, the monkey Mother's Day card is...
I love
Well, one of the all-time odd ones to me was It's a Long Way to Tipperary. No. Hinkley Dinkley Parlez-Vous. That's what the deal is. Okay. Yeah. And talking about John Hinckley back when he shot.
Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan. And he just said, that's a lot of Hinkley Dinkley Parlez-Vous. See, it still works.
Yeah.
is to pray for people the way Brother Gene and Sister Jill do, because when I have a need, I know what anyone does. You pray right then and there, which is as it should be. And
Yes, I've just really appreciated our friendship and the fact that when I first took one of your classes at the college, it's just like it was a whole new experience for me as far as the way you presented the word, and helped me to become more, I guess. Just to have a better understanding of a lot of the word that I had not had presented to me in that way before. So I've always appreciated that. Appreciate it.
No, I was just gonna say, you were talking about praying for people immediately. One time, I had prayed for, God had me minister to somebody's back one time in college, first time. And I tried to argue with God. I said, I don't minister. That's what my brother or my dad do. That's not it. And God told me if I would, that he'd heal her. So a few months later, I met a lady who was having some back problems. She was telling me that she'd come to this conference at the college I attended. I met her at the cafeteria. We're visiting. And she mentioned, she had to get out and walk every little bit because of, problems with her back. And I'm thinking, okay, waiting for the right moment. I'm going to offer to pray for her back. I'm like kind of excited that there's somebody else maybe I can pray for. And then she starts telling me all these other things wrong with her. The more she starts adding to the list, the more my heart's sinking and sinking. And I thought, well, I don't know if I got the faith to believe for all that. And back I could believe for. And God just kind of nudged me and said, if your mom and dad were here, they'd offer to pray for her. So I thought, well, okay, So I did offer to pray for her. I checked the length of her legs, and one came out. She started crying after I prayed for her. She started wiggling her, feet, trying to, draw in a circle with her foot. And she said, it's the first time I've been able to wiggle my feet in, several years without pain in my back. So I don't know what God did with the rest of her body, but I know He helped her back that day. But really, there's been a lot of times where God's really kind of convicted me, look, in fact, I'm now the age my parents were when they got into ministry healing to people. Or when my mother was my age and my dad was 3 years older, Chuck's age. And so, God's showing me, look, this is the next generation now. You guys need to start doing a little more. You can't just wait till your mom and dad come to town now to pray for people.
I don't remember.
You got married 2 years after we got filled with the Holy Spirit.
Mostly the early years, probably the seminary years were the times that,
Yeah.
and in West Virginia maybe.
Yeah.
Those were the times that I remember they were problems.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even terrible problems, it just,
No,
any,
just little tiffs.
yeah, any tension in the air would really upset me. And so when my husband was that way, the kind that would just give me the silent treatment, that really bothered me.
Worst. Leave those cups, we might want to refills.
Thank you, Mom. Now what?
People.
I like one. I think it's
I like
Yeah, she's
in 14 and a half, almost 15 years of marriage to Marcia, I haven't got to spend that much time, really, with Gene and Jill. We've never lived close, and you don't really learn a lot about people in a week, a year, or thereabouts. It's hard to really get to know them. I must say that what I know of Gene and Jill, more than what I've met and seen of them, I've learned through Marcia, really, because she is their child. And she mentioned a while ago, that I said, look, Marcia, I'm not your dad. Don't compare me to that. I know through her that Gina set a very high standard for fatherhood, for spousal material, whatever the case may be. And I know that if I fix something around the house or I do something and Marcia says that, that Dad couldn't have done better or something like that, that's really one of the greatest compliments.
High compliment.
It's high praise indeed.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the two of you had a chance to raise Marcia to the woman that she is.
There's Sinette. She has a word to say.
He hasn't been listening.
That's really helps the thought process, getting me off film. Let me think first, Dad.
Now Sinette have, for the first time, our own house. And we've done this before, but more this year than any other time, we're starting to get serious. And I guess it's because Talia is getting older. We're trying to put down traditions we want to start, and whether it's having Thanksgiving or things we want to do at Christmas and Easter and those kinds of things. And, so many of them are things that, in terms of my suggestions, go back to the way I grew up and the way my parents raised us. And things that I want to have so that my child and others can enjoy what I enjoyed. And even just, forcing Sinette to learn how to make potato salad, Mrs. Cruz's fruit salad, and German chocolate cake, all these things. Really, those are special parts of memories that I have growing up. And so I feel like, I don't want Thanksgiving to be different than we had it. I want those things that we had to be there. And that people who come to our table experience what we had at our home in all those years. I think I really, really loved the times when Dad was in the Air Force and we had servicemen over at Thanksgiving, because it meant so much to them. And so it's important to me if I find there's an American roaming around South Africa around Thanksgiving time, I make sure that they are invited to our Thanksgiving. Mostly they don't take me up on it, but I just want to make sure that people are not alone at Thanksgiving, that they have that opportunity. So I got that.
I know you do. Yeah.
Even when you don't feel the love anymore, you start acting like you do.
Wow.
That God brings it down, so the feelings follow actions.
Yeah, I want to comment on that too. This whole concept of, I had it in my mind.
Falling out of love.
Yeah, love is a choice. And this is when I realized that God had given me this woman. I realized that I had to choose to love her. And it wasn't a matter of how I felt anymore, but I chose to do it so. And once I made that choice, it was easy to love her. It's funny, love is a choice. Once I made the choice, this is the woman that God gave me. I am going to love her, and I'm not going to let anything disturb that love. I'm not going to even think about what it could be with anybody else. See, that's a big thing. And so that never enters my mind. She is it. I love her. There's no question I love her, but if it wasn't for her, I could love somebody else. No, there's no possibility. Because I've made that choice. And we can make a choice that way. I know that a lot of people think, well, I can't help it, is it? No, we can and do make choices. I made that choice, and I'm not sorry. And maybe you could say you have to make that choice every day. But it's there, and because I make the choice and I verbalize it by telling her things about how I feel about her, it's settled. And it really makes life pleasant. And I don't know, she hasn't ever said it like I've said it, but I know her choice is to love me. And I like to think I've got good qualities, but I'm not perfect. I know I make mistakes. I know yeah, I know I'm far from perfect. I never thought I was perfect. I try to be, I'd love to be, I want to be, but I don't think I am. I'm sure I'm not, as a matter of fact. But it's just wonderful that she's made the choice to love me always too.
Really, from early in our marriage, it was in my heart that if I had happiness, which I did, I always wanted to have a marriage. I always wanted to be married to a wonderful man who would think I was wonderful. And I was very happy, and it seemed to me that happiness is something you want to share with other people. And so, all along in our married life, we've had people come to our home and share a meal with us or an evening with us or something like that, because we wanted to include them in our happiness, to, for some of it to be in their life too. And so that's why we always had guests at Thanksgiving or Christmas or something like that. Because I don't ever want someone to feel alone or lonely at a time when they should be happy.
I was praying about the guy, Bill in Hawaii. I was like, God, couldn't he still be the one? It's a guy I dated kind of long distance for a year with the Susan's church. We'd been broken up for a year, but neither one of us were dating anybody. And it's like, God, couldn't you change us so we'd be happy together? And God told me I could have him if I wanted him. And I was like, wow, well, yeah, I can. And I was kind of excited. And then all of a sudden, the next thing went through my mind is, yes, but he's not my best friend. And I thought that's the difference between God's permissive will. I had God's permission, but it wasn't his perfect will for my life. So I prayed. I said, well, God, I want your best. And I think partly I had to give up the idea of that guy ever being the one. In fact, 5.5 years later, he was dead from brain cancer. He'd had brain cancer before and had been operated on. And so he lived almost 10 years after his initial surgery. But so I'd have been a young widow if I had married him. But thing is, anytime things get really tough or I'm grumpy with Dave, that always crosses my mind. I prayed for the best, and this is what I've got. This is the best. So I never have the thought, gee, I might be happier if it never occurs to me that I could be better with somebody else, because I feel like if God gave me the best and we still sometimes fuss with each other, it's got to be a lot worse with somebody else. It doesn't get any better than this.
You didn't have to laugh so hard, Susan.
I know that God set it up for Calvin and me to get together too. He told us that we were supposed to marry each other, and a lot of times I wondered why.
Why?
Those lovely children are part of it, I'm
I
sure.
think it is. I really do. Sometimes I used to think that was the only reason he wanted us together.
Okay, I want to get to Sinette again.
Don't worry about me one time.
I do go ahead.
No.
What's you in here?
I'm not even very sharing about things about it.
What?
Sitting here, baby. Ah, that's nice. Taking the baby for a swim.
Well, these other units are more desirable to me. If you're not
Josiah, this is swim trunks I gave you for Christmas. Did I give you those for Christmas, the swim trunks? They look like ones I think I gave you for Christmas.
That's it. Oh. It's not on.
Okay. It says recorded. It's saying record.
See the red light. Well, hello, everybody. Marcia
Why are you down? Stand up. I wanted to show you close.
Oh, okay.
Let me back off. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know how to zoom it. Okay. I don't know how to turn it off.
We have here Sierra.